Okay, folks, we're going to try this again for the third time. This is the third live stream today. So the first one petered out after so many minutes, and the second one I maybe lasted a little longer, and then it petered out, and just really bad connection. And the B&B guests have left, so B&B guests are not here right now. Accommodation is empty, so they're in town having dinner. So there's nobody on the internet. The tenant up on the top tiny house is out too, so nobody else is using the internet right now. So hopefully we can do a live stream for at least a half hour. And so the current time here is 4:20 p.m. Pacific time. It is 21.9 degrees Celsius with 49% humidity. Okay, so it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon, late afternoon here on Salt Spring Island. I just went to town for my second motorbike ride, and it was absolutely awesome. And I had a little cup of Java at the coffee shop again, so that's two. So, which means my sleep tonight's going to be really screwed up, because usually if I have a cup of coffee after noon, after lunch, then it fills me up. It's the caffeine in it, and I probably should have got a decaffeinated one, but I didn't. I really like their coffee. Like I say, I'm not a big coffee drinker. Just on the weekends, I like to go for a motorbike ride, sit in front of beachside, and have a cup of Java, a small cup, dark roast. And it's very busy in town. We got the Saturday market going on, and there's a lot of tourists around Ganges, which is our village on Salt Spring Island. So this is a very good place to be in our garden here in the nice quiet area on Salt Spring Island, far away from town. It's about a 15-minute drive from our place to town, something like that. And really nothing's that far on Salt Spring Island. Like I say, the very south end of the island from the north end of the island is just under 17 miles away. Okay, and you can figure that out in kilometers. And there is an area on the island that's much farther if you want to go to the very southwestern corner of our island, and that takes about an hour and 15 minutes to drive from here. And Wendy and I did that one in June. A customer hired me to carve a tiki in a big old maple tree stump for them. So I did that, and Wendy and I went down to Musgrave Landing. And what it is, and I've told you this story before, but for people that haven't been on here listening to my live streams, you got to go up over the mountain. Okay, so you go over the gravel road, and then you descend down into this little community on the very southwestern edge of Salt Spring Island, and that is actually close to Cowichan Bay on the Big Island on Vancouver Island. So a lot of people have boats down there. Well, I think they all have boats, and they take off over there, go over there for dinner, go over there for maybe grab a few groceries or whatever, and then head back to Musgrave Landing. So it's very remote, but it's a very mild growing area of Salt Spring Island. There's some nice palm trees growing down there, and I think if I was very wealthy and I didn't really have to go anywhere, and I could just relax and just garden all the time, not have to work, I would probably live in that area. It's absolutely beautiful. So if you ever get a chance to visit Salt Spring Island, and remember that's 3 words, Salt Spring Island. It's not Salt Springs, it's Salt Spring Island, named after the salt springs on the north end of the island. And I drive by some of the salt springs every day on the way to work. Musgrave Landing is a really interesting place. There's a lot of history there too, and there's a little dock, and there's a marina there, and there's like this kind of, I won't say a village, a community. There's a community of about 26 houses, quite nice houses, in this very remote area of Salt Spring. And it's like you're a million miles away from everything else on Salt Spring when you get to this community. So you could grow some really nice palms down there. I saw a nice Camarops. There's some old tall Trachycarpus palms growing down there. And then there's others in gardens as well. There's cordylines, stuff like that. It's right on the ocean. The community, they all have oceanfront property. So you're going to pay a pretty penny down there. But if you have the greenbacks, that's what you got to do. And if you really love exotic gardening, then you try to buy your property in the mildest growing location you can. You see, so if I had a ton of money, I would be even a more milder location than this. This is one of the best growing locations on Salt Spring Island, but there are even slightly better than this, right? Anyway, I'm here for good, and I do like this end of the island. I do like this location. I did pick this location specifically to grow exotic plants, and you can see them in the background there. So it's a very palmy garden. very palmy garden. Lots of palm trees. They do self-seed around here, and they're low maintenance and no grass in our garden. And it's a nice place year-round. It's a very nice place to sit back and relax. Even in the gloomy, cloudy, rainy winter months, you can look out at those nice green palm fronds. Okay, folks, so we're 5 minutes and 22 seconds into this live stream, and we'll see how long we can do it. We'll go for, several more minutes, many more minutes, and we'll see if anybody jumps in there. I see two people are in there. It shows two little kind of this little of emoji kind of, and it's got a two beside it. So we know there's two people watching it. And yeah, if you want to jump in and comment. I can do another live stream tomorrow. I like to do one on the first Friday of every month. It's amazing how fast August has gone and summer. Don't you find summers go really fast? Jane, if I could move, I would move to high elevation Hawaii or Northern California just to grow. Oh yeah. Yeah, I love Northern California. And I love Hawaii too. I love all of Hawaii. I like all the Hawaiian islands, even though I've been to Oahu and Maui, but I've seen enough videos of all the other Hawaiian islands, even Niihau on Niihau. But I have a friend that lives in Eureka, California, Northern California. Amazing what he grows there. Excuse me. He grows a lot of really nice plants, big date palms there too. And there's big date palms on the southern Oregon coast. Jane, you'd like Brookings, Oregon. Brookings, Oregon is an amazing Zone 9B climate. Acacia koa. Yeah, I wish we could grow that here. Wendy's got a ukulele made out of a koa wood, Hawaiian koa wood, and she bought that in Maui at Wailea, and she actually took ukulele lessons there a couple times. Unfortunately, we're not going back to Maui this year just because of what's going on around the world. Play it safe and just stay here on our small island in the North Pacific and have a staycation. But if we ever make it to Oahu again, which I'm sure we will, we would love to eyeball with you and meet you. And we could go out for, tea or coffee if you drink tea or coffee. That'd be really nice to meet up with you. And when we're on Oahu, we definitely like to walk up to Kapuhulu and I like to go to Rainbow Diner, and we go to Leonard's Bakery. You would grow koa forest outside. That would be awesome. That would be cool. There's a couple of different ones that grow here in our climate. We have Eucalyptus delbata. There's Eucalyptus melanoxylon, and there's Parvissima. I think it's the knife. Is that what it is? Parvissima? It's a knife edge acacia, and I've seen that growing before too. There's an acacia melanoxylon growing in town. It's been there for a long time. There was Baileana. The Artipurpurea, the purpurea ones with kind of the purple tinges to the feathery leaves. And they lasted 10 years in Ganges. And then in 2008, they froze dead. It's too bad. They were really nice trees. The flowers on them were spectacular, just spectacular. And I started shooting YouTube videos around 2008. I don't know if I have any videos of those. I might. But they did freeze, and it was December. I'm pretty sure it was December 2008, and they were growing in this very rocky area on a point of land, Grace Point, right beside the ocean. And I sold them to the owner years ago when they were tiny pot size, tiny little plants like that, and they grew really fast. And he also had them growing beside a big Fremontodendron californicum tree. I think that's still there. That's easy to grow. Northern California and Southern Oregon would be a good. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's lots of acacia in Southern Oregon. I see them. Once you get down to Florence, I see a lot of acacia trees in Florence and southward, and big acacia trees. I'm pretty sure they're delbata. They look like delbata to me. And there's probably melanoxylon there as well. But as you get farther south on the Oregon coast, it's a lot milder. You get into Brookings, you get into Gold Beach and Brookings, and even Bandon. I saw a lot of them there growing as well. And when I was in Florence, halfway down the Oregon coast, I saw native Darlingtonia in their habitat. Went to this mini golf place. And of course, I'm talking with the owner, and we were talking plants, and then we got talking about carnivorous plants. And I says, I think there's a carnivorous species of plant, Darlingtonia, around this area. He says, yeah, do you want to see some? So he took me into the forest, this wet area, and there were some Darlingtonia growing, which was really cool. And I think they're actually protected. They're like a cobra lily. We have Sarracena here, and we have some in the bird bath, and they stay out year round. We also have sundew plant here and they're very hardy in this area. I like Venus flytraps; they're pretty cool. I don't know if they'll work outside here though. I mean, there's a hardier one, but I don't think it'll work this far north. We're at 48 degrees latitude, and I think Hawaii is what, at 21 degrees latitude or 26, something like that. It's quite a low latitude. But are you there to stay in Hawaii for good, Jane? Or are you thinking on moving one day? Or would you like to go to, like you say, Northern California? I mean, I love the California climate on the coast. Acacia, curved leaves like eucalyptus, sweet, different than koa. Is that interesting, eh? Beautiful trees. They get white. They get white flowers, puffy flowers on them, don't they? Yeah. Well, we got a lot of eucalyptus trees here, and I'll tell you what's happening right now. The bark is peeling off. They're very messy. You know that. There's lots of eucalyptus trees in Hawaii. They're very messy, but we take the bark and we throw it on our pathways, like I've said before, and we break it up. We break up the bark and throw it on the pathways through the garden. And I tell you, when it rains, like it rained the other morning, you can really smell that eucalyptus. It's really aromatic. It brings the fragrance up. Kind of smells like Vicks. You can smell that Vicks vapor rub in there. And man, that bark is peeling off in sheets. So there'll be big sheets of bark sitting on the ground. It's really, really messy. And it's different than the Pacific Madrona. Our Pacific Madrona trees, and we got big ones on our property too, it peels off, but it kind of flakes off. So there'll be flakes of it, small little sheets of it, thin, paper thin. But the eucalyptus is thick of bark. And in the wintertime, we can use that to actually start fires in our house, to like a kindling. So we use that as well. Put some of that in the woodshed, nice and dry. It burns really good. Koa tree bark doesn't peel off. Cool. Um, yeah, they grow. I think there's a bunch growing near Wailea on Maui, and yeah, beautiful, beautiful trees and very hard wood. And bowl turners like it, and people that make things, like people that are into arts and crafts with wood. I've seen koa wood pens, koa wood watches. There's a koa wood store, and I've seen them over in Hawaii, Oahu too. But there is one. Well, actually, there's more than one in Maui, but I went in there and everything was koa wood. They had koa wood pens, koa wood this, koa wood that, and it's not cheap. They even had koa wood rings, koa wood bracelets, a really neat hard wood. So the hardwood here is oak. We have Gary oak, native Gary oak, Quercus garryana, or Oregon white oak, and we have our Pacific Madrona. And I'll show you a tiki. You weren't on my live stream today. I carved a tiki for someone today, carved out of our local Pacific Madrona tree. It's an extremely hard, tropical looking tree. It's a hardwood, it's a broadleaf evergreen, and well, there they are behind us. We have big ones on our property, very big ones over 100. I'm going to grab the tiki and I'll show you what I'm talking about, Jane. I'm going to drop this on my foot. So I carved this one here. Okay, I carved that with a chainsaw. And then there's the pineapple. There's the pineapple in the back of it. I like to put a pineapple in there. So what I'm going to do with this one, and we sell these at our gallery. A guy's going to trade me a dream catcher. He makes these fantastic dream catchers. I'm not so much into dream catchers, but Wendy loves dream catchers. So this tiki is going to be traded for a ultimate dream catcher. He says it's the ultimate dream catcher. He sells them in the gift shops over in Tofino. So that will get traded for a dream catcher. Yeah. Anyway, hope all is well in Hawaii. The current temperature here is 21.9 degrees Celsius, 49% humidity, and the time is 4:33 p.m. Pacific time. 4:33 p.m. Pacific. And I know it's 1:33 Central Pacific time where you are. I love the Hawaiian time. Hawaiian time is the best time in the world. I'm thinking if you go a little bit farther west into the Hawaiian Islands, farther out than the Big Islands. Anyway, let's take a look at my arm. There's my map of Hawaii. Okay, so we got Niihau, and we have, let's just see, where's Niihau? Niihau. You know what? It's covered up by the flowers. There's Maui, there's Molokai, Lanai, Kaho'olawe. Oh, sorry, there's Oahu, There's Kauai. There's Niihau. There. Sorry, my bad. I was looking down here. There's Niihau, and there's the Big Island. So if you go farther out west or east, I think the time zone is actually different than um, the Hawaiian Islands. I think they're still an hour behind you guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. So wrong. If you went out to Midway and Johnson Island Atoll, they're still this side of the date line, but I think the time is a bit different than where you are. Is that true? I heard you grow sundews. Yeah, I got one. I'll show you too. I'll bring it right here. Here's a sundew. Here is one of our sundews. There's a sundew. They're very sticky. These things are really, really sticky, and fruit flies. So unfortunately, I eat bananas every day, and I love bananas. So we have them in the kitchen, and some of them over ripen, and then you get these fruit flies. These things. So Wendy brings this in, and I bring it in too, and we put it by the bananas, and it's full of fruit flies. They're stuck on this sundew here, and then this is a sarracenia. This is your other carnivorous plant too. But this sundew has gone crazy and it's flowered and it's gone to seed. There's some seed on that one there. So I got to put some more water in it. So I got water in this tray. So that's our sundew plant and it absolutely loves fruit flies. Really loves fruit flies. So if you have fruit flies, put a sundew plant in your kitchen. And I mean, yeah, I suppose you could get a Venus flytrap, but it's not going to eat as many fruit flies. See, those things are so sticky. There's like hundreds of fruit flies stuck on that sundew plant. Oh, there's a sundew native to Hawaii. That is pretty cool. I did not know that. We also have carnivorous plants native here to our province, in British Columbia, in the bogs, and I think it might be a sundew. I'm pretty sure it is a sundew. And my friend actually had a carnivorous plant nursery just south of Vancouver, and he grew all these different varieties. So that's where that came from. And he had thousands of plants there. I got videos here of his nursery, and it's greenhouse full of carnivorous plants from Venus flytrap, sundews, Darlingtonia, big pitcher plants, and all that stuff. And he just recently sold everything, and he moved back east to Nova Scotia. Drosera and Angelica and Lika can be found in Hawaiian bogs. Cool. That'd be really neat to see growing in habitat. How about that? I like seeing those types of plants in habitat, just like the Hawaiian tree ferns or the Pichardia, the lulo palm, the Hawaiian palm, right? And then I don't know how many palm trees are actually native to it. I think it's just that one. I mean, coconut palms, I think, were brought there by the early Polynesians that came from Tahiti, but I think it's just the Hawaiian fan palm, right? That is the native one there. Is there any other one? Is there a couple species of Pichardia native to Hawaii? I wonder. But I do like the Pichardia, and there's Pichardia pacifica too. Hey, banana. Would it be okay to use your paranormal swing video on? Yeah, of course. Yep, you can do it. Use it if you want. Yep. Um, what Wendy's going to do is take that paranormal swing video, and then she interviewed me this morning about it, talking about that area and that spiritual ground that it's actually on, because there was natives buried around that area thousands of years ago, and bones have been found there, right? And and then there's a Hawaiian church just across the harbor with lots of Hawaiian graves. So that area has a lot of energy in it. So you're more than welcome to use that for sure. But Wendy's going to upload that and then fuse them all together and edit it and put it on her channel, Gulf Island Rock. So if you watch her video, her channel, Gulf Island Rock, she interviewed me last week about that, which was weird to see it twice. I don't know if we'll ever see it again, but that's why I carry a camera to capture things like this. And, there's skeptical people out there. That's fine. You're totally entitled to your opinion, and it's YouTube entertainment. And that's what it's on here for. It's free entertainment, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, whether it's negative or positive. It doesn't matter to me. Just, yeah, no problem. Check out Wendy's channel. Gulf is one word, and then like GULF, and then the second words are Island Rock, and you'll see the interview with me talking about exactly what happened that day. Okay, there are a lot of species of Pichardia in Hawaii, several on Oahu. Okay, yeah, I know there's lots of species, but whistles looking hot today. Hope you're having. Hey, thanks, Right on. I was out riding a couple of times today. I had a couple of motorcycle rides, which was really nice. And I usually just go down to the local coffee shop, Beachside. I really like it. If you come to Salt Spring Island, check out Beachside Cafe. It's really neat. They have live music on the water side. I'm not much into jazz. They had jazz today, but that's cool. Some people are into jazz. They had this ragtime music, and it's like from the late 1800s. Anyway, I shot a video of them playing their music and singing. I thought it was kind of funky, kind of bluesy, kind of old school, but it was neat. What do we have here? Cool. Thank you so much. God, are you sick? I rarely get sick. I don't even remember the last time I got sick. I remember last time I had a sore back. I had a sore back. When did I have a sore back? I missed 2 weeks of work. It was late May, early June. And man, I was doing something stupid and I torqued my back out, my lower back. So I was in physio and then I went to acupuncture. I'm sure I told you about it on a live stream. Acupuncture works really good. Yes, Dave, good to see you in there, buddy. Hopefully this live stream will last a little longer than the first two. And, the internet connection's not the greatest here. B&B guests just, they checked out this morning at 11 or just before 11. And then new ones have just checked in after 3, but they're gone out for dinner. So there's nobody around here using the internet except moi. So good connection right now. You can tell if a Brichardia is Hawaiian if it has. Oh, cool. That's good, Jane. Damn, Jane, you are so knowledgeable. I want to meet Jane in Hawaii. You know where we could go? If I met you in Hawaii, we could go to Murakami Udon Noodle on Kuhio. That's one of my favorite cheap places to eat in Waikiki, and it's really, really good food. I love that stuff. Hey, Jane, do you like what's that pickled cabbage? I love it when I'm there. I eat it all the time. It's really good. I buy it at Foodland. You know what I'm talking about. My mind went blank. What's the pickled cabbage? My wife cannot stand when I eat it around her because she says it stinks. It's from kimchi. Yes, kimchi. I love kimchi, and I also love poke. So I like the hot, spicy kimchi, and I go through probably about 7 or 8 jars of it when I'm there. But she makes me eat it out in the lanai because Wendy absolutely will not let me eat it inside. Kimchi, very good for you. Yeah, internet does suck here. It's terrible. Correct, kimchi, that's right. It's good. I love that. They actually sell it at Costco. You can buy it here at Costco. But you know what? For some weird reason, it always tastes better in Hawaii. And they actually sell poke here too. They sell poke not all the time. Once in a while, they sell it at one of our local grocery stores. Internet sucks. Yeah, it does. Ours actually, you know what, Dave? Our internet really does suck here. You're not a hypocrite. Have you ever seen Dog? No, I've never. I've looked for him, but I've never ever seen Dog the Bounty Hunter. Who did I see there one time? I saw a rock band. I was down on Hanama Bay, and it was in the late 1980s, and I saw the rock band Winger, and they were down at Hanama Bay. That was a long time ago, though. Mike is in there. Hello, Mike. Blast off from Pennsylvania. Jim, nice to see you guys in there. So maybe we can go for an hour. From the States is here this year, and usually a good portion of our customers that stay at our accommodation come from the U.S. and not this year, unfortunately. But this year it's all coastal British Columbia and over on the Big Island. And yesterday, the people that checked out today, I think were from Victoria. Are they from Victoria? I think they were from Victoria. These people are from Vancouver, though. So anyway, it's very beautiful here this afternoon. It feels like it's gotten a little warmer. So, around 21, 22 degrees. And I think it's around 22 degrees now. And then 49% humidity. Off to Lytton Monday. Oh, they broke a record the other day. It was last week, Dave. It was like 40. I think it was 44 degrees Celsius or something. So, of course, the Canada hotspot is Lytton. You guys like heat. If you come to British Columbia, go to Lytton. You will fry to death. And my buddy Dave likes heat. But you know what? There's a river he can jump. He says, Dave, go jump in a lake. He's not going to jump in a lake. Dave, go jump in the river. Joe, you should camp like... No way, Jose. I tell you what, a lot of them come from Quebec to our province here to Salt Spring Island because you know what it is? It's the climate. And you know what? If If you can sleep outside in the wintertime, that's probably a good thing. And in Quebec, I highly doubt you're going to be sleeping outside because you would freeze your fanny perpendicular off. That's another word for hiney. Yeah, Lytton is the hot spot in Canada. It's also hot in Cache Creek, Lillooet, Pemberton, Peachland, Oliver, and Kamloops and Vernon and Salmon Arm, those places. But Lytton has it beat. For some reason, Lytton is in this microclimate and it gets stinking hot there. I think it was like 105 degrees. Well, what's 44 degrees Celsius? I think it was 44 degrees Celsius there the other day. It was on the news. What is that in Fahrenheit? Can somebody tell me? 38 degrees Celsius is 100.1 degrees Fahrenheit. That is actually the record heat here for Salt Spring Island, is 38 degrees Celsius. And like I say, when I was in Lytton, I was 4 years old in 1968 was the last time and only time I have been to Lytton. And I remember it being a very interesting place. My dad brought his 303 rifle. And I remember being with him. We were just shooting at nothing out into the middle of the forest because we're in the middle of nowhere. And there was rattle 40s. 40C is 104. Okay, so what's 44C? It was 44 degrees Celsius in Lytton last week. It's crazy. Lytton, unlike most, and Lytton is a place too. Everybody waves you, everybody talks to you, everybody gives you the time of day. You know, if you see a palm tree growing in someone's garden, you can definitely go into their garden and take a picture of it, and they'll come up and say, "What's up there?" And probably invite you in for a cup of coffee. But now with what's going on in the world, they probably won't invite you in a cup of coffee. They'll bring you out a cup of coffee. 111. Okay, thanks, Mike. You're awesome. So Mike says 44 degrees Celsius is 111. Well, guess what? 111 degrees Fahrenheit is way too hot for me. Jane, there are some Wollemi pine growing on Salt Spring Island. And I shot a video of one this past spring. I went to do a consultation for a lady. She's got lots of big palm trees in her garden. She's got citrus growing outside. Doesn't live very far from me. And years ago, she planted a Wollemi pine when it was small, and it's actually a pretty good size pine. And I said, you know, last time I was at her place was years ago. I says, I remember when that thing was small. And I said, look at that thing. And there was a branch touching the ground. And I said, is there any way we can kind of propagate that? She says, by all means. So I dug a bit of hole in the dirt, and then I put the branch down into the dirt, covered it with dirt, and I put a big rock on it. So hopefully next year it will pop some roots out. And she says, I'm more than welcome to cut it off and have that Wollemi pine. I first started selling those things at the nursery when they first came in. It might have been back in the late 1990s. And for a little tree was about $130. And I wasn't going to spend that on it. Most hot places are full of mean. Are you kidding me? Really? Is that right? Well, we're not a hot place here, so we always have lots of nice people here. We're just your average little island in the middle of the North Pacific, and people are very friendly here. I think my banana are largest. Yeah, I bet they love it there. Bananas would love it where you are because you get lots of heat and you get lots of humidity. I don't know if you saw the video I uploaded last night, Mike, down at the Salt Spring Island Saloon. It's just a 2-minute drive south of here. Banana Hell there has got a whack load of bananas. He's got a big red Abyssinian banana and Sete ventricosa murilli, but he's got about 100 banana plants in his garden, and it's a jungle there, and they're getting pretty big. So he fertilizes them once a week with Miracle Grow. But I'm sure I've seen pictures of bananas in the southeastern states and over in the Atlantic states, and they get gigantic. And I know yours would get gigantic because of your soil and your heat and your humidity. Yeah. What do we got here? I heard that mine were, yeah. Oh, is that right? You know, I never thought about that, Jane. I never thought about that with the fires that were in Australia. I know a lot of animals lost their lives, and I forgot about the Wollemi pines. And they are very, I think, kind of rare, aren't they? Weren't they just recently discovered in the 1990s or something like that? Yeah. Oh, you did comment. Okay, cool. Right on. I lose track of everything I got on here. I'm uploading so many videos. You water them. Good man. I've got to go water. We had rain yesterday morning, so I will water the bananas tomorrow. So it looks like we're still hanging in there. We're just about a half hour into the live stream. So remember, folks, if I suddenly disappear, I'm not being rude and cutting you guys off. It means internet connection was cut, right? But I don't think Wendy's on the internet. The tenant and the other side of the property in the other house is not here. And the guests that have checked in have gone to town for dinner, or maybe they've gone to check out the Saturday market. The key to growing good bananas is lots of water, great rich soil, and lots of fertilizer. But if you have enough richness in your soil and you're top dressing them, you probably don't have to fertilize them as much. Unfortunately, my soil seems to be getting infiltrated by a big tree that is about 50 feet away. And that tree sends down these roots, and they kind of just tap right into where the bananas grow. Hello, Top 10 Extreme. That's a cool name, Top 10 Extreme. Yeah, Jane, I really want to grow a Wollemi pine, and they're hardy here. I'm not going to have a problem growing it on our property. It's just finding a place to grow it. It's like I got this long needle. Wendy and I have this long needle Mexican pine in a pot. I've had it for years, and it stays outside year round. It's got these super long needles on it, but I don't really know where to plant because if I do, it's going to get really big, and then I'm worried about casting shade because I'm trying to remove more trees to make more sun. And this fall, apparently, Wendy wants to get some more big Dougie firs cut down. Douglas firs are 120 feet tall or more. Those might be 150 feet tall. Getting them cut down. So moi is going to be busy splitting wood for the next year's wood pile and fire. That's how we heat our house here. We are wood heat, but we also have, there's electric heat in the house, but we don't like to use it because it's super expensive. So we heat our house with wood. So I chop about 3 cords of wood every day. So we get the tree fallers to come. Smaller trees I can cut down, right? But the big trees, I get a professional to do it. I'll tell you about Norfolk Island pine. There was a neighbor of mine down the road. This was years ago. She had one outside for 5 years. It survived 5 years, and then it finally died. People don't generally grow them here because they're not really a hardy plant at all. But I know of one close to a building, close to my friend's house in Tofino. It's been there for years. It's under his overhang. It's not very tall. It's maybe 4 feet tall, something like that, but it is still outside. Planted by the edge of the property. Yeah, I may have to, Jane. I love pine trees, like long needle pines especially. So I'm going to have to plant it far away from the garden because I don't want it getting big. And then I'm going to have to cut the thing down when it starts casting shade on our needle palms or fig trees. We got one corner here right by the deck. We got a big fig tree. Well, it's just 2 fig trees there. There's one here. We got more in the front. And then there's guava. We got pineapple guava. And we have pomegranate. And then we have, what else do we have down there? Another fig. So there's pineapple, guava, pomegranate, and fig. And we want much sun as we can get those things down there. There's lots of sable palms. I like questions. Questions are all good, Dave. All of them. All questions. And there's no such thing as a dumb question either. You know that? So, and I'm always learning too. I learn from you guys. I think you might learn a little bit from me. And it's good to have you all in there. And I hope everybody's having a fun weekend so far. I find the weekend goes too fast. Don't you find the summer's going fast? It's cruising by. It's the 22nd of August. It's crazy. And a long-range forecast is looking pretty good for the Southern Gulf Islands. Lots of sun. Have you ever checked out Lake? Yeah. Oh, there's lots of them there. I have a book from Switzerland. Well, I've got seeds from Switzerland, and I've shipped seeds to Switzerland, believe it or not. I have shipped palm seeds to Switzerland, but not Lugano and Locarno. I've shipped them more farther north in Switzerland. My jubea that I grew from seed came from Locarno, Switzerland, the seed. It was collected for me. So I've known about the palm trees in Switzerland for decades. And years ago, a friend brought me back a book from Switzerland back in the 1980s. It's all in Swiss, unfortunately, but it shows you all the palms and stuff growing in Switzerland. Joe, here's a dumb question. Are you a woman who is... Joe, here's a dumb question. Are you a woman who is green? I think I'm a man. I don't think I am a woman. Wendy is a woman, and green. Well, green meaning what? Liking green stuff like plants? Yeah, I like plants, so I guess I am green. I do like green. Have you ever checked out? Like, yes, I have. Nobody would answer me. That's funny. Right on. Yeah, no, if I had ever had to go to Switzerland, that's where I go. It's on my list. I had a friend that he passed away. He was in the Palm Society with me, and his wife was from Switzerland, and she still lives here on the same property with the exotic garden that he created. And every probably 5 years, they would go to southern Switzerland. So he would always take lots of photos for me. And I mean, you can see lots of YouTube videos of the beautiful palms that grow in Locarno, Locarno, Switzerland, and Lugano, Switzerland. There's huge oleanders, there's Washingtonias, there's Phoenix, there's Brahias, there's huge Jubaeas. Everything seems to grow there. 46 degrees north latitude, same latitude as Portland, Oregon. I yell at brick walls all the time. I had a vagrant yell at me the other day. I was cleaning the bathrooms. And man, we got to clean the bathrooms. It's protocol. We got to do them 3 times a day. We have to sterilize public washrooms. So I used to put one sign up, keep out bathrooms, are closed because they're being cleaned. And you get people just walk right past us and not social distance and come in there. And I'd say, what are you doing? Can't you see the sign? Got to get out of here. Whatever. So anyway, so now I got 3 signs up with pink flagging ribbon between them all. So I block it off. A guy walks past me the other day, this big dude, 6'3", hangs out in the park a lot. And he walks past me and my coworker, and he starts screaming at us and swearing at us, 4-letter words left and right. Why are you guys cleaning the bathrooms now? And I got to use the bathrooms and these expensive bathrooms. And what's wrong with you guys? I need to use and I should be able to. Oh, it's like, are you kidding me? So I'm sorry. I snapped and I lost it on the guy. And I called him a bunch of names and chased him out of the park. And because I don't have patience for that, I put it this way, I have zero tolerance for that, right? And I get very defensive. So anyway, he came up to me later on in the day. I was cleaning up some garbages in the park where they all hang out, and I could see him out of the corner of my eye. So I'm keeping an eye on him just in case there's a confrontation. And yeah, entitled people. That's what I said, entitlement. So I'm cleaning the garbage out, and I see him hanging out with all these group of guys. There's about 15 of them, and I'm getting ready for confrontation because I'm always ready. And I see him walking towards me. So I'm really ready, right? And he comes up to me, and he says, oh, man, Joe, I really like you, and I'm really sorry that I went off on you. I was having a bad morning. So I think what it was, I think the guy suffers something like maybe bipolar or something, and that really set him off. But I says, when I'm cleaning the bathrooms, you don't come up and verbally assault me. I'm just doing my job, and I don't like to be verbally assaulted when I'm cleaning bathrooms. And it's not the first time I've been verbally assaulted in the park. It's probably happened about 6 other times. And all 6 other times I've chased those people out of the park. And one guy, it was last year, he actually went to the cops and complained on me, and he started it. And so the cop comes up to me several days later when I was down at one of the parks, and she says, did you verbally assault a guy? And I said, I want to do a lot more than that to him. He's lucky that's all I did to him. And I chased him out of the park. She says, yeah, that's what he said. And he was afraid to come in and use the washrooms again. He totally laid into me, this guy, for no reason. I'd finished unplugging a toilet. So I really wasn't in a good mood. And he laid into me, so I lost it on the guy. And she says, yeah, he's nothing but problems. So she was on my side. Because life is easy in warm climates. Yeah. Well, it'd be even easier if I was in a warmer climate, like Jane. You see, Jane lives in the tropics, and I don't live in the tropics. We live on an island here in the North Pacific, and it is not a tropical island. We have a Mediterranean-like climate. So where Jane lives, you could just sleep out on the beach all night on a sand mat. Maybe if it gets a little cooler into the 60s, you could throw a little blanket over top of you. But where Jane lives, there's a lot of people. There are thousands of homeless people that live outside, and it's easier there. But here on Salt Spring Island, I think we have about 100 homeless people, and a lot of them sleep outside in the parks and stuff, mostly in the forest. And even in the winter, you can get by with just putting a tarp up, and you have a good sleeping bag. Yeah, it's damp in the winter, but as long as you stay dry, you're good. I live in Zone 7, the Big G. That's a cool name. I live Zone 7, part of New Jersey. Kentucky cars survive all year and grow over 12. I would protect when it gets really cold. I know there are palm trees in southern New Jersey, the Garden State, in very sheltered locations. So you know what? Try one, but get one from good seed source. Get one from the northernmost range where they grow in someone's garden. So if you can get some Razorback from, say, Austin, down in Little Rock, Arkansas, that's Zone 7 B8A. That would be a better choice than buying one that's imported from Florida. So get some hardy seed from somebody that grows them at a more northern range, and that's your best bet. Yeah, Tam, they disappear. I'll tell you what happens to the streams, the internet. Okay, and I forgot to say that again. And everybody else knows it when I stream on here. We have very poor internet connection here at this end of the island. So I'll be streaming away, and then all of a sudden it says, your connection has been cut or whatever. Poor internet connection, and then I just go dead. So it's not that I'm being rude and cutting you people off. It's the internet connection is so bad, and I get so frustrated over it. so I tried to do another live stream, and the thing was just scrolling, going around and around. So I said, forget it. I hopped on my motorbike and I rode to town. I came back. I bought dinner. So I got some dinner. I bought a chicken and I bought some creamsicles for dessert. And I said to Wendy, I'm going to do another live stream. Let's see if it works this time. So our tenant is out. We have a tenant up at the other side of the property, lives in the house, other house. And then the guests are out. Our B&B guests are out right now. So there's nobody using the internet. So we got a very good connection right now. Yeah, a lot of people want an easy life, and that's the problem. You know what I mean? I've worked for everything I got, and I'll always work. I'll work right till the end. Well, until I retire one day, if that ever happens. I also have been to Sweet, Ireland, and yeah, there's lots of palm trees in Ireland and the UK. There's tons of palm trees in Scotland. Um, yeah, there's palm trees in places you least expect. Yes, Mike Gerard died, and Gerard Peary died in July 2012, I believe. So it's been about 8 years. He was a very good guy. He stayed with us 2 or 3 times here on Salt Spring Island. Him and his wife Alice, very nice people, and kind of like the godfather of palms in the Vancouver area. And if you saw the guy's garden in my videos, you'd see what I mean. He's got 30-foot tall palm trees in his garden that he grew from seed back in the 1960s. And really, his yard is a jungle. It's this tiny little lot in Vancouver, like a postage stamp, but there's no lawn. And his backyard was like this palm nursery, but he had big palms back there too. But the front yard is just palms and exotica. And there's like this interlocking brick pathway that goes through it. So he's got the bananas, tree ferns with 10 feet of trunk on them, and then palm trees with 30 feet of trunk on them. And you can't really see his house from the road. And it's just amazing. And I really hope that one day, if Alice passes on, that she, their child Michelle, inherits that place and keeps the legacy alive. Because what happens a lot of times, the property value is worth so much in Vancouver. That place could be worth probably about 4 million or so, even though it's an old house. People come in and they'll bulldoze down everything. They'll bulldoze it all down, and then they'll put up a big monster house. And that happens where my aunt lives. My aunt lives just around the corner from him, and she's been in that same house in 1968. And there's only about 2 houses, original houses on her street. Everything else has been bulldozed down. She lives in a modest house, nice house, and they're monster houses. And she's going to be 98 years old in September. I talked to her a few days ago on the phone, and she says, "Do you know what I'm doing right now, Joey? I'm baking bread." Little Italian lady about this big. And yeah, she was out in the gardening too. She says, "I just came in up from the garden." Galliano. Galliano would be cheaper than Salt Spring. Bowen Island would be up there too, but there's actually Bowen Island's just a bedroom community of Vancouver. That's how close it is to Vancouver. It's a really close ferry ride from West Vancouver, from Horseshoe Bay to Bowen Island. I've been to Bowen Island. It's nice. I don't think I would live there though. There's not enough for me to do there. The reason I moved to Salt Spring was because my parents bought here in the 1970s. Okay. And they bought here in 1978. So we always had like a summer house here and property. They had a couple of pieces. Actually, mom and dad owned 3 pieces of property here. And so we would come here for weekends from the mainland, and I'd stay for, a good chunk of the summer, a few weeks out of the summer. And I said, one day I'm going to retire there. But I came here in my 20s, so I've been here a long time. And there's everything on Salt Spring. That's why I like it. We have a hospital. We have 3 fire halls. We have lots of elementary schools. We have high school. We have police station. We are basically the self-contained island, is where the other islands don't have the amenities that Salt Spring has. So if you don't have a hospital, I don't want to live there, because if you hurt yourself badly, you're in big trouble. So when I go for a checkup, I got a doctor here. There's dentists here. There's lots of dentists. There's everything here. Acupuncture. There's physiotherapy. There's yoga. You name it. There's a gym here. 2 grocery stores. We have it all. We just don't have fast food chains. We don't have fast food outlets. They're not allowed here, and no box stores allowed on Salt Spring Island, and no neon signs. So it's a pretty laid back, cool place with all the amenities that we need. Salt Spring has the biggest population. It does. We have about 10,500 people or so, but it goes up in the summer up to 30,000 when everything's back to normal. Right now, it's probably just about double, but it's usually triple. But it's, 10,500, it really hasn't changed much for a long time. There's people moving off, there's people moving on, but it's a pretty good size island. Like I say, it's just about 17 miles long. So there's a lot of space here. Galliano, there's less people, and there's less to do, but it's still a very beautiful island. Don't get me wrong. All the Southern Gulf Islands are beautiful, and they all have different things that are nice about them. If Salt Spring Island can import food, produce enough food for, yep, we grow most of the stuff here. A lot of the food we grow is here, except the tropical stuff. Although there is a lady that grows oranges and avocados and everything. She's got 100-foot greenhouses. You can see my videos. And her orange trees and citrus trees are laden. They're big trees. But we can grow pretty much everything here. We have a farmer's market that'll blow you away. And we even have winter crops here as well. So self-sufficient as well for growing vegetables. There's lots of sheep farms here. There's beef farms, goat farms, all of that stuff too. There's orchards here, tons of orchards. There's olive and there's vineyards and all that stuff here. So we have a good enough climate to be self-sufficient year round, except for all the major tropical fruit. So she supplies her tropical fruit to restaurants, specialty restaurants buy her tropical fruits, but everything else comes from like California and probably Florida, I guess. Mansions being built on agricultural land. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of big houses here. White, yeah. Oh, yeah, they do love monster houses, Dave, no doubt. Not allowed here. Oh, really? You're not allowed to have fast food there either. And chains, is that what you're saying? Aloha from Denton, just added track. Oh, cool. Right on. That's actually a really good one to have. Yeah, Nova. Nova Angelica? No, Nova. Nova Angelica is actually a eucalyptus. Silly me, I got my wires crossed. Nova. That one's got, does the Nova have more fronds on it? The fronds are a bit different. I got to put this umbrella. The sun is blasting in my face here. Hang on, guys. Sorry about that. Hopefully that'll keep the sun out of my face. It's very, very and warm. Oh, Sanibel Island. Yeah, that's Captiva and Sanibel Island. There's a lady and her husband that came from that island, and they live here on Salt Spring Island in Vesuvius. And very nice people. She's an artist. She's been here about maybe more than 20 years, and her mom lived here even longer. And they go back in the winter, but they're not going back this year. They go back in the wintertime to Sanibel Island, but this island's nice beaches there. It's in the Gulf side of Florida. You were midway through the last stream answering question, but what's the main difference? Yeah, I was going to say it's amenities, HOS. That's what it is, and population. Galliano, the least populated is Saturna Island. I think there's about 250, 300 people there. Pender Island is the next most populated. It goes North Pender and South Pender. Little bridge connects them. And then there's Main Island and Galliano. So when you're taking a ferry over from the mainland, south of Vancouver, it's about 15, 20 miles south of Vancouver to Wasson Ferry Terminal. The first island you stop at is Galliano. And then people get off, people get on. And then you sail over to Main Island. And then you go to Pender Island, and then you come to Salt Spring Island. And then we're the farthest southwest. To get to Saturna Island, it's kind of tricky. There's no ferry from our island that goes to Saturna. You got to go from our island to Pender, and then Pender to Saturna, or you can go to the big island to Swartz Bay, and then to Saturna Island. And I think I would like to live on Saturna Island if I had to live on another island with not as many things, because the climate there is very good too. Very beautiful climate on Saturna. It's farthest southeast. Sanibel is a tropical island. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I know there's and very nice beaches in Sanibel. Sanibel and Captiva. I think there's bridges there, isn't there? I think there's a bridge that gets across to those islands. So where we are, there's no bridge. It's too far from the mainland to make a bridge here. And I would, if they ever made a bridge here, if they could do that, I would move away. I would move away immediately. I'd put the house up for sale, and I would be gone. I would never ever want to this island because I think it would totally mess up Salt Spring Island. I would want a little bit more remote, and that's why I moved here, because I'm on an island, and I used to live on an island when I was a kid as well. I lived on Lulu Island, which is also known as Richmond, and that's just next to Vancouver. That's where, Vancouver Airport is actually not in Vancouver. It's on Sea Island, which is next to Lulu Island. I went in 1991 from Galliano to Goss. Oh yeah, cool. It was seriously called, there is an island called Gossip Island. Yeah, for sure. There must be hardly any schools or shopping. There's no high school on Galliano, but there's an elementary school. The north end of the island has nothing. There's nothing up there. Everything's down on the very south end of the island at Sturdy's Bay, right? There's like the Hummingbird Pub. There's a little grocery store, gas station, and probably some little shops and things like that. I'm sure there's lots of B&Bs, but look at the island on a map. There's really not a lot on Galliano Island. Montague Harbor used to be the other ferry terminal, and they got rid of it. So the ferry terminal's still there, but it's not in use anymore. And I've been there a couple of times. There's a campground near a very beautiful area. So if you ever have a chance to visit the Southern Gulf Islands, check all the other ones out. I've been to Pender, Galliano. I've set foot on Maine. I've never checked it out. And I've never been to Saturna Island. And of course, I've been here a long time on Salt Spring Island. Really a lot of tropical plants on Captiva, more than Sanibel. Oh, interesting. You know what islands I'd like to see, Mike, are San Clemente off the coast of California. I think that would be a cool one. And then there's another one called, there's another one, San Clemente, and why can't I think of the name? My mind goes blank sometimes when I'm doing these live streams. There's some islands off of Southern California. You know the name. I mean, you know the name of the island. Why is my mind a blank? Anyway, it'll come to me, but you'll probably shout it out before it pops into my brain. What happens when you reach 56 years old? The brain starts to go. San Clemente Island, and it's in the Channel Islands. There's another, San Catalina. God, thanks, Mike. You did it again, blast off. So San Catalina Island. That's it. I'd like to go to those islands, those ones there. I bet you'd be a really nice place to live, and a really good climate. I don't know how rocky it is. Like, think of Salt Spring Island, where we live on the very north end. It's extremely rocky where we are, but there's some amazing pockets of fertile soil here if you get into the valleys, right? So you get into the Fulford Valley. There's a lot of farms here, a lot of good farmland, but where we live in this particular area on the north end, it's a rocky, very rocky vein of sandstone and shale. So it's plants, if you don't water them enough or they're not tough enough, they will dry out on you. To California a lot of times. Well, not a lot of times. Sorry. I'll tell you the first time I went to California. It was in December 1981. I was 17 and my buddy was a couple years older. We drove down and we went for a couple of weeks and we stayed down in Los Angeles. We stayed in Northern California first, then we stayed in Los Angeles. We drove way down into Mexico. And then in 2004, went down into Northern California. We drove because we went down the Oregon coast, and I've been down there lots of times. So we drove down into Crescent City, which is just south of the Brookings border. And then in 2008, we took the kids, went down there for a week. We took the kids down to Disneyland. So we stayed in Anaheim and took the kids on a tour down there. We flew down, though. We flew to LAX. JC just popping in to say hi. Joe, hi on the... I'm Cape Breton. Cool. Complete opposite coast of the country. Bought seeds from you and still have little... Oh, sweet. That's awesome. 2015. Well, there's a guy that I shipped seeds to over 15 years ago, and he posted pictures. He's in New Brunswick, and he posted pictures of his Trachycarpus wagnerianus. You should see how big it is now. It's absolutely awesome. Growing in New Brunswick. I think he's in zone 5, and but he protects it. Of course, he probably boxes it in, but it's still really nice job, and it looks absolutely awesome. And Cape Breton Island, yeah, you're on the opposite coast. You are 4 time zones east of me. The Atlantic coast, so we're Pacific time here. It is 5:13 p.m. Pacific time. It's around 22 degrees. I think it was 21.9 when I started or something like that. And it feels actually warmer, and it was 49% humidity. So really nice evening here, and the live stream's going good. Nobody's on the internet messing up my connection. Let's just see. What do we have here? How tall has Rhipidophyllum grown? We have lots of Rhipidophyllum. Oh, they're not that big. They're maybe the biggest ones are probably a little clump like that, something like that. You got to remember, this far north, they're very slow. And we have some really nice ones in 15-gallon planters. They're at least 15-gallon planters down on the lanai where the B&B guests stay, and they're absolutely beautiful. So I put them in the tiki hut for the winter. They're unheated. It's dry in there, and anything in pots goes in that tiki hut. Anything really tropical's got to go in the basement, like the bird of paradise I throw in the basement, and the kencha palm I throw in the basement. But everything else I cram into this tiki hut, and I put a tarp along the front. It's got Lexan roof on it, and so it stays bright in there, and everything does very well. Even the Washingtonias go into the tiki hut unheated, and they do well. So I really like growing the needle palms in pots. We got sagos in pots that stay outside year-round. I shot a video of them today, and I'll get that uploaded. I'll try to get that tonight. And they're actually flushing right now. They don't have a ton coming out, but they are flushing new fronds out right now. So we got one on either side of the door of the B&B. So when the B&B, I mean, not only are they seeing sago palms, they are seeing lots of lush exotic vegetation in the garden. The view from the B&B room is absolutely awesome. It's just palm trees and exotica, and it's year round. People stay here year round. So, hey, JCI, I've been to Cape. Nice. That's cool. I've never been to Eastern Canada. I've been to, as far as I've been east in Canada, is Drumheller. And I think Drumheller's east of Edmonton, and that was in the summer months. I went to Edmonton. I've been to Edmonton twice in the summer months, and then we took the kids to Drumheller, and we went through Calgary, went through Banff too, and I've been to Jasper. Been to Jasper a couple times too, but only in the summer months because my body cannot handle too much cold. You know what I'm saying? I will freeze to death there in the wintertime. To turn the bananas. Oh, cool. Right on. Well, Hal down the road from me at the saloon, he's got the flower pod coming out. So a lot of times the bananas will hang right through the winter time, and you'll get banana fruit, and then it'll ripen in the spring. But I've seen them ripen here too. But yours are going to be ahead because you got way more heat. Any further west than Calgary? Yeah, I'd like to see Eastern Canada. You know, I'd love to see Atlantic provinces. It really interests me there because Atlantic Canada has so much history. You know what else I'd like to see? There's these two islands, and I've mentioned it before, off the coast of Nova Scotia, or Newfoundland, owned by France. Saint Pierre and San Miguel. Is that what it is? San Miguel? I think that's how you say it. There's a ferry that takes you there from Newfoundland, and it takes you to these French islands that are actually owned by the country of France. And it's like being in France, and you need a passport to get there. So, and I only found out about these places about 5 years ago. I had no idea these little islands existed. So I went onto YouTube. That's it. God, thank you. Have you ever been there? I would love to see those islands because it looks super cool there. It looks like a really neat place to visit. And if I ever go to the East Coast, the Atlantic coast of Canada, definitely going to check out Miquelon, 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 I guess. I don't speak French very well. So that's where I really want to see. So they have everything that they have in France on these two little islands right off the coast of Atlantic Canada. Isn't that crazy? And a lot of people don't know about that. Canada is a huge country. I don't think people really get. Oh, it's massive. It's massive. We have 4.5 time zones here. Canada has 4.5 time zones. That's how big it is. And then we have two time zones here in this own province. In British Columbia, we have two time zones. We have Mountain and Pacific. So we're the farthest you can get west. We're Pacific. And then there's Mountain, Central, Eastern, Atlantic, and Newfoundland time. And Newfoundland time, how many time zones is that? Is that 5? Just a minute. Pacific, Mountain, Central, Eastern, Atlantic. We have 5. Is that true? Do we really have 5.5 time zones? There's no way. We got to do that again. Pacific, Mountain, Central, Eastern, Atlantic, and Newfoundland. Damn, we have 5.5 time zones in Canada. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks. I only thought we had 4.5. Where did we get that extra time zone from? I know Newfoundland, because they always say, oh, a half hour. Like, I remember watching TV as a kid, and you'd be watching something on CBC, and 4:30 or 4 o'clock this time, and 4:30 Newfoundland. They'd always say that. It'd always be a half hour later in Newfoundland. So I guess we have 5.5 time zones in Canada. It is a big place to travel around. And so if you have to drive from one end to the other, one side to the other, it's a long way to drive. I've got a friend that's done it a few times, and he's doing it right now. So he's probably already on the East Coast. He's visited his brother, and then he's going to drive back. His brother moved to Nova Scotia from the coast here. That makes our problems in Canada unique and complex. Most other people understand why our problems. Yeah. Hey, there's Jules. Jules is in there. Jules S is in there. Aloha to Jules. Good to see you in there. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how big this country is, but I think most people live nearer the border, right? They live down south. I mean, there are people that live up north too, but most of the population, I think if you look on a map, would be quite south. Go to George Street and water if you ever, St. John, funniest time. Is that right, eh? Funnest time of your life. That's cool. Wendy, my wife, works at a big inn here on Salt Spring Island. And the people that own the inn, her daughter married a guy from Newfoundland. So she lived over there for years, and they just sold their place last year, and she moved to Salt Spring Island. And he loves it. He moved to Salt Spring Island. He was born and raised in Newfoundland. He didn't want, it took him a lot of prying, took her a lot of her to get him to move out of Newfoundland, but he finally did it, and he does love it here. And he's working, and there's a lot more to do here than where he was in Newfoundland. So, and he doesn't have to put up with blizzards every winter. We don't have blizzards. There's no such thing as blizzards here. Yeah, it can snow a lot sometimes. Every so often, you get this freak snowfall, but there's no blizzards here on Salt Spring Island. This sun, I love sun, but it's kind of annoying. I'm gonna have to move the umbrella. Hang on. Okay, let's see if that works. The sun was right in my face. I met him. Yeah, and then there's other people here from Newfoundland. There's one guy that used to have a fish and like a tackle and hunting store in town years ago, Keith Newman, and he was from Newfoundland, and he had a nicest guy. Newfies are nice people and good sense of humor. And he had a very strong accent. And yeah, her husband does have a bit of an accent too, for sure. I like that. Well, even people from Nova Scotia have an accent, for sure. People say I have an accent. Do you think I have an accent? A? Maybe if I say A. What's that video? Let's go out for a rip, eh? Have you ever seen that? We're going out for a rip. Watch that video. That personifies the true Canadian redneck. Okay? Going out for a rip. We're going to go out for a rip. It's these guys in a 4x4 going out for a rip. Watch that video. Newfoundland and Quebec are different from the rest of Canada. We need to listen to each other in Canada, try to work. Yeah, hopefully they can do that. That would be better. What's your opinion on Chinese flu? Chinese flu. Chinese flu. You mean what's going on in the world right now? I don't know. I still keep my distance from people just to be safe. I'm lucky in my job. I can stay away from people. I think I'd be more concerned if I was in a close-knit a community or a store working in the retail, right? But I notice everywhere you go, they're taking precautions here. And there are a lot of tourists here right now, and I see a lot of people wearing face coverings. So I don't know. I don't want to find out if it's for real, and I don't want to get it. Knock on wood, I think I'm a pretty healthy guy, and I rarely get sick. We're pretty healthy people here. You know, I take my vitamins every morning. I have my really healthy smoothie every morning. I take an isogenic smoothie. I put a banana in it with the greens plus type stuff, and I feel really good for my age. But I'm still keeping my distance from people until this all blows over, if it's real or not, right? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't want to find out, put it that way. People always think Cape Bretoners are Newfoundlanders because we talk to Nova Scotia and Cape Breton. Hey, do you know who Ron James is? Ron James, the comedian. I think he's from Nova Scotia. He's been here to my place. I actually worked with Tom on a set shoot here on Salt Spring Island. They contacted me, and I had to sign a waiver. And I worked with Ron James. I actually have the video here. He was actually in our yard with the film crew, and they put makeup on me and everything. And I shot a piece for with Ron James. So if you go to this channel, on this channel here, and punch in Ron James, you will see the video. And it was on Salt Spring. It was quite funny. Ron James is a funny guy. He is from, I believe, Nova Scotia, and he definitely has an accent. Definitely, but it might be different than Newfoundland accent. I can't really. It's like Australians and New Zealanders. They both have accent, and a lot of people confuse the both. You know, but if you listen closely, there's a difference, right? Rich are getting richer because, yeah, I wonder. I don't know much about that. I mean, I just listen on the news every day, and it's on the rise. I hear it's on the rise. So hopefully it'll be all over with soon. And everybody stay safe out there. That's all I can wish for. I think the safest place to be is in this garden right here. You know what? Don't have any neighbors. Don't have anybody around me. You know what I have around me right now? Birds. I'm hearing the little birds up in the arbutus tree. There's birds in the palm trees. And a lot of times we hear the squirrels. Ravens love to hang out here, and woodpeckers. So this is my happy, safe place right here in the garden. New Zealanders say black. Oh, and black. Oh, black. Cool. Interesting. Tropical PDX. Good to see you in there. Hometown. Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, and then yeah, he was a really good guy. So I have a video of that here, and I might even have one on my other YouTube channel. But check it out; it was cool. So anyway, we're doing this photo shoot, a video shoot for his thing because I was on his program, on his TV show, and we're talking about we're standing over the sun deck looking at the tree fern, and I said something, I don't know if I said Trachycarpus fortunei or something like that, and he says I think he said I once had that, but it cleared up with medication. He's a funny, silly guy and a good sense of humor, and I send him home with one of my tikis. I got a picture of him and I standing in our garden and him holding the tiki, and he does actually have a like page and a page. He's one of my friends, really super good guy. Joe, please sing to us. No, I'm not a good singer. Well, I can sing in my vehicle, but it's usually pretty heavy music, and my voice isn't that good. Wendy seems to think it is, but if it's heavier music, I can probably sing along to it. But anything that's soothing to the ears and probably nice to listen to, my voice wouldn't be that good for it. So how much does it cost to own a piece of land on Vancouver Island? Well, it depends where you are in Vancouver Island. I'm not on Vancouver Island, by the way. I'm on Salt Spring Island. I'm in the Gulf Islands. Vancouver Island, there's some very cheap places if you go north. But if you're in Victoria, it's very expensive. Nanaimo's expensive. Duncan, a little cheaper, but still getting up there in price. But if you go inland or you go north, it's going to be a lot cheaper. Here, it's expensive. But like what Dave says, yeah, if you go up into the interior of the province of British Columbia, it's going to be way cheaper. But anyway, here on the islands, it's still pretty expensive. And I don't know what you're comparing it to, right? Like Vancouver is super expensive. Victoria here is very expensive. And living on Salt Spring is a costly place to live. Like the cost of living is higher because we're on a smaller island. And you got to remember, when you're living on a smaller island, everything has to be brought here by boat, right? So boats are coming over with food and gas and propane and everything. Even when you get your septic tank pumped out, that has to be shipped off island. So it's a very costly place to live. And I knew that before I moved here, but I really wanted to live on Salt Spring Island. And like I said, I've been coming here since I was a teenager because mom and dad bought here 42 years ago now, just over 42 years ago. They bought here in the summer of 1978. So I've been coming here since I was 14, and I've lived here a long time, and there's no turning back now. You mentioned we live in a big country, but we are all up. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I don't know where you live either. I'm not too sure where you live. You know what? Living on this island, it feels like I'm a million miles away from all the other problems. Really, I don't really have a worry in the world here. I love living here. It's really a laid back lifestyle. And that's what I like about Salt Spring Island. No traffic lights. There's the odd street light in Ganges. And it's just a really laid back, fun place to live. Oh, you're in Vancouver. Okay. I was born in Vancouver. I was born in the Grace Hospital. My dad was born in St. Paul's. You know, I was talking about St. Paul's last night when I was down at Hal's Saloon, and I heard they're tearing down St. Paul's Hospital because the land is worth so much money. I heard it sold for 21 million. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, we don't have any traffic lights. Nope, no traffic lights here, Mike, at all. Zero traffic lights on Salt Spring Island. It's so rural here. When the lights go out, it's pitch black. Oh, you're new here. Less than 6 months. Okay, so you came from maybe somewhere else in Canada. Bad earthquake, and you'll be swimming in. You know what? I've been here 56 years now, born and raised, and I felt one earthquake in the 56 years, and I'll never forget it. It would have been in the fall of 1990. And I moved here shortly after that. A couple of years after that, I moved here in the fall of 1990, and we had friends over and we were watching a TV show. It was at night. It might have been about at 8 at night. And the whole thing, it was weird. Things started swaying in the house. This is when I lived south of Vancouver. I go, man, I think we're having an earthquake. And it lasted for maybe 20 seconds. It was a 5.6, 5.7, something like that. And that was it. There's been earthquakes since we've lived here on Salt Spring Island, and we live on rock. We live on solid rock here, and I've never felt one of them. I've never felt one earthquake here on Salt Spring Island. So I feel very safe here on Salt Spring Island. We're not subject to any tsunamis because we're so sheltered. If you look on a map, no tsunamis ever going to affect us here either. So this is a good place. We don't have any extreme weather events. It's very rare that we get a windstorm, maybe once every 55 or 60 years. The worst one we had was in December 21st, 2018, and I captured it on video. And before that was October 1962. So it was a long, many years before. It was like a hurricane force storm we had here, and a lot of trees down. There was I think 38 or 40 houses crunched on Salt Spring with trees, and lots of trees on vehicles too. Yeah, not oh yeah, there's lots too. Tropical PDX, there's lots of tsunami zones here on the west coast of Vancouver Island. When you go over to Tofino, I'm going to be heading over there soon. There's signs all over, tsunami evacuation routes. We don't have that here. We don't have to worry about that here. I think what would happen if there was a tsunami and it infiltrated the inner south coast, I think the waters would rise, and maybe lower areas near the water might get some water infiltration, but there's no going to be no big waves because there's too many islands around us. The outer island, none of it, we wouldn't get it. You look on a map and you see our location, nothing's going to hit us from the west. We've got Vancouver Island there, right? And all on the east of us is other Gulf Islands. So yeah, no, it's rare that we get strong winds here. Like I say, at the end of the season, you'll be lucky to see one rip in our bananas, and maybe no rips. Banana leaves are flawless here, right till the bitter end, till we get our frost. I remember, right, no traffic lights. Yeah, I like no traffic lights. Bad earthquakes, and you'll be. Hopefully not. Hopefully in my lifetime we will not get it. They keep saying we're going to get the big one. I'll believe it when I see it. I get a windstorm. We get earthquakes here. Yeah, no, I mean, quakes can happen anywhere, right? But biggest earthquake I felt in Ontario 10 years back, 5.5. Yeah, so we had about a 5.6, 5.7, and that's when I lived about 30 miles south east of Vancouver. It was weird. It was a weird feeling. It didn't last long, but the tropical plants, I had this huge corn plant, Dracaena, in the house, and it was like going back and forth like this, and we all just like, and then your heart kind of goes like this, and there's nothing in our house to really fall on us. We had like a rancher house with vaulted ceilings. It was built really well, but it was just a really strange feeling when it starts moving. So I couldn't imagine a big one. There was a really big one in Alaska, March 28th, 1964, one day before I was born, and it was a 9.6, I think, the Anchorage earthquake, and it caused a tsunami in Port Alberni on the west coast of Vancouver Island, and I think some people died in Port Alberni from it. It was pretty brutal. Tsunamis are for Japan. Yeah, they can happen there too. We are safe from earthquakes, forest fires, southern. Yeah, we can get forest fires here. Nick, I have a question. Good, go for it. Fire away, Nick. There's been forest fires here, and that's what really bothers me about the summer months. It's careless people that smoke and throw their cigarettes out the window of their vehicles when they drive, and that goes for any place with lots of forest and that's very dry in the summer, like here. A lot of those fires are man-caused. I don't feel so bad if it's caused by lightning strike. Hey, that's just an act of God. But if you throw a cigarette out the window and you cause a forest fire, that's a very bad thing because it puts so many lives at risk as a lightning strike. But you look at some of those wildfires burning in California, where they might have been lightning strikes. I don't know if they're man caused, but they seem to get them really bad every year. I remember hearing about an earthquake in Alberta in 1983. Wow. I remember a tornado there, but I don't remember an earthquake. Did you? Okay, so where's my moderator? Nick Scheller. That's weird. Some people say really weird things. Well, they're trolls, so that's what it is. When you're going to palm tree, golden, I'm going to harvest in Jules. Nick Scheller is a troll, right? I actually do have a moderator, and he wasn't here earlier, so if he comes back, he'll get rid of that guy, and then he'll be reported. When am I going to harvest seeds? I tell you, Golden, when we harvest seeds here. So wherever you are around North America, it could be different for seed harvest time. I harvest them in December here. So mid-December, when I get back, just after mid-December, when we get back from Maui, that's when I always harvest seeds. And check out some of my videos on seed harvesting. And that's when they're ripe. But I actually harvest them when they're green. And when you hang them when I hang them in dry storage, they'll actually turn black. It doesn't take long for the seeds to turn black. So you can harvest seed green and it will turn black just hanging them up. Yeah. Scheller's a weird dude. These guys are really weird when they say stuff like that. Like Nick, I don't know, he doesn't have a profile pic. He's I'm guessing a troll. He could be some kid or just some immature older guy with nothing better to do, or some zit-face dude hanging out mom and dad's basement, some 40-year-old guy that lives in the basement with nothing more to do than to troll. Could be a bot. Yeah, it could be a bot. There are bots too. It's weird that a bot would do that though. I still get bots, and they put like join this adult site. It's like, why do they do that? Who are the guys that create that, and how come it's allowed? How come it's permitted on YouTube? I don't get it. And then there's one guy that was always trolling, and they weren't bad things. He says, "Oh, love your videos, want to subscribe, want to be friends," constantly, and I don't see that guy anymore. It's just weird. He just, well, him, it could be her, it's a bot. And that just disappeared. Oh, thanks, Tropical PDX. I appreciate it. Thanks for reporting them. Yep. And hopefully YouTube will get rid of some of these guys that harass other people. I don't like people that harass other people. It really, you know what I don't like in life? I don't like bullies, and I don't like people that harass other people or make fun of other people. And he seems like, well, if it's a bot, then it's not. It's just a machine doing it, right? A computer. But if it's a person, they're not a good person. Anyway, thanks, Tropical PDX. Thanks, Dave. Well, I don't know if I'm popular. I just like to mumble on a lot about things, ramble on. This sun is really getting into my eyes here. So how's the weather where everybody is? Is it like really nice? Just subscribe. Thanks, Golden. And stay tuned for daily uploads. I have another YouTube channel as well, Golden. It's called Jungle Joe C. Okay? It's actually connected to this channel. And my wife, Wendy, has Gulf Island Rock. Okay? So golf, one word, and then Island Rock is the next word. And she's got lots of garden videos on there as well. Go ahead, Tropical. Or who's that? I have another question. Go for it. I have another question, Nick. Nick's got another question. Let's see Nick's question. Brutally warm in southern. Yeah, I know. It gets really hot there, doesn't it? You saw nice camera ups. Who saw the nice camera ups? I just missed that. The things are going up so fast. The messages are going up so fast. Oh, this message is held for review. Thank you, Tropical PDX. It's nice to have people like you on here that report guys like that. Nice. Thank you. Appreciate it. I know Ontario gets really hot and humid, and you guys need AC. So there are people on Salt Spring Island that actually have AC, but not a lot of times you use it in the summer months. There's very few days you actually use AC here because you can open your windows up and the ocean breeze will come through. And there's a very slight breeze right now. When I look up like that, I'm looking up at the eucalyptus trees, and the leaves are moving ever so slightly. So I'm going to go like this. Can you see the eucalyptus trees in the distance there? Can you see those eucalyptus trees way in the distance? They're big trees. So they're moving ever so slightly, and there's a slight breeze, and I can just feel it a little tiny bit. In Portland, we tend to run, Portland gets really hot. I've been there in the summer, and it bakes. It's a great area for growing those heat-loving plants, and take advantage of that climate, and I think you do. I think Tropical PDX does. Sammy, Eastern Tennessee, yeah, and Tennessee gets hot too, and they got a lot of humidity, Sammy, lots. Joe, I just got 900. Right on. Sweet. That's awesome. Good for you. Congratulations. 2 days last week, 100. Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, we never made it to 100. We were in the 90s. We made one day, I think it was 90. I think we made it to 90 here at this end of the island, but other areas of the island, in a bit from the ocean, where they grow the olives and the vineyards and the valleys, they were into the 90s. But it's pretty rare that we get into the 90s here. Like I say, we're very close to the ocean on both sides of us. What type of palm tree is behind you? Okay, I'm going to show you what we have here, folks. This is a Butia. This is Butia capitata, okay? And these are Trachycarpus fortunae palms. And then there's a Trachycarpus hybrid in there too. And there's Wagnerianus palms here as well. These I grew from seed a long time ago. Planted them as seedlings. So those are Trachycarpus fortunae palms. They are known as Chinese windmill palm trees, the most common palm on the southwest coast, arborescent palm on the southwest coast. The oleander, oleander would love it there. We have some blooming right now. The other ones we cut back were leggy, and they're actually doing really well now too. They're coming back. Back in 2012, nitrogen was hundreds for a week and got, it's hot. It was 111, Sammy, in just last week, just north of here up in Lytton. Lytton is the hot spot of Canada, and it's in British Columbia, and it was 111 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is hot. And Buddy Dave, I want to say snowbird flock. It's not snowbird flock. It's dreamy eyes. I got to remember that name, Dave. And he goes up to Lytton, and he loves it up there. And I think Dave likes the heat. Trachycarpus prince, but love the heat too. Tropical PDX. I got some seed from Europe for a Trachycarpus princeps. Put them in the baggy method. They were in there forever, not germinating. And somebody said, Joe, put them in the ground. They germinate better outside. So silly me, I pushed them in the soil right beside our Jubea palm. And guess what? They germinated. And now if I dig in there, it's going to damage the roots of the Jubea. So I'm just leaving them. And I think there's like 2 or 3 princeps seedlings there. I also have Manipure here in the garden that's doing very well. Yeah, oleanders are very poisonous. We have a lot of them in our garden, mostly contained to one area. We also grow a lot of Daphne, which is poisonous, and also Euphorbia Caracas wolfenii, which is also very poisonous as well. So do not put things in your salad if you don't know what plant you're putting in your salad, and do not be eating plants if you don't know what they are. So the problem, you get a lot of little kids that want to put things in their mouth like berries and plants and this and that. But yes, oleanders are deadly poisonous. You shouldn't even burn the sticks because the smoke, I heard, is also toxic. And we have a few different types of oleanders here. What types of palm trees are in BC? Well, the only place palm trees grow in BC, Golden, is along the Pacific coast. So the most common palm tree is the Trachycarpus fortunei, Trachycarpus wagnerianus. There's tons of Camarops humilis palms. There's Butias and Jubeas, lots of sable. There's sable minors, and there are people that grow needle palms and stuff. I mean, in our garden, we grow quite a few different species of palm trees, but Camarops and Trachycarpus fortunei. Let me move this thing again. It's driving me crazy. Son. Oh, there we go. There we go. I think that might have blocked it out. Trachycarpus fortunei is the most common palm tree on the Pacific coast of Canada. And our winters are, let me go like this. There we go. Winters are mild enough here where you can grow palm trees outside year round. Yes, sago palms are poisonous. We got a lot of those in our garden too, in our garden. So we have 1, 2, 3 in pots, and then we have 1, 2, 3 or 4 in the gardens. Yeah, and they are poisonous. You're right. The fruit is poisonous too. Yeah, I'm going to Lytton Monday, Joe. Oh yeah, do a video. That's awesome. White with dreamy eyes. There we go. Perfect. Check out my videos, Golden, on palm trees in Vancouver, okay, and Victoria. I got videos of everything on this channel. Okay, so if you want to see palm trees in Vancouver, just go to my channel and search palm trees in Vancouver, and you will see what grows in Vancouver. The streets are lined in the west end of Vancouver are lined with palm trees. There's suburbs of Vancouver with streets lined in palm trees. Okay, and I have videos of all of that here. I do not miss a thing. I don't go over to Vancouver that much just because it's far from here and it's expensive to carry to get to Vancouver. So snowbird flock. Yeah, I know. I'm so used to that name. It's hard for me to, I'm going to adjust. White with dreamy eyes. Well, I'm going to call you Dave for now. But, and I met Dave, everybody stayed here. They came to our place. Dave was here and they brought us a bottle of hot sauce from where he lives up in the interior of the province. So Dave lives a long way from here. It's a many hour drive north of here and then a ferry ride, of course, to get here. But they came 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. Sure. Was it 2 years ago? I think 2 years ago. Surveilled, and they know it. Who's that? Lag, golden brick. I've always been curious, Joe. Do you have? Yeah, we have a pawpaw tree. Yeah, I have one in a pot, and I had it in the ground, and it really suffered because it's so dry here in the summertime. And I put it in the upper garden, so I dug it out and I put it in a 5-gallon pot, and we actually have it growing in a 5-gallon pot beside the cactus patch. So we do have a pawpaw tree, and I know they actually produce edible fruit, and they are native, I think, to southern Ontario and the Carolina forest southward, and they grow them a lot in Virginia and stuff. What do you know? What do you do? Wendy makes. We make tea. I tell you what, I don't smoke pot. I like the plant because it's very tropical, and we don't. I don't smoke the stuff, but we use it in tea. It helps me sleep at night. Oh, you need 2. Okay, so I'm never going to get fruit on it, but I have one. I bought it at the Van Dusen plant sale quite a few years ago. Do you, Joe? You have to water. Yeah, I didn't water enough tropical PDX, and it did suffer. It really did. Yeah. So Jules, yeah, and we use the leaves too, and I grind them up. And you know what we do? We put them with nettles. We harvest native stinging nettles, and I make tea out of it. So we have pure stinging nettle tea, and then we have the other stuff. So at nighttime before bed, I have the other stuff, and I told my doctor about it, and he says if it helps you sleep, because I do suffer insomnia. I'm the type of guy that tosses and turns all night. And if I put a little bit of that in my tea, I sleep like a little baby. You know what I mean? But I did a bad thing today. I had 2 cups of coffee. Okay, so the first cup of coffee I had in the morning at Beachside, and the second cup of coffee, I went out for a motorbike ride the second time, and then I stopped at Beachside and I had another cup of coffee. And that's a bad thing because in the late afternoon, if you have coffee, I'm going to be up all night. So I'm going to have some of that tea. And if it doesn't make me sleep, it's certainly going to make me go pee all night. Mine grow 2, 3 years. Yeah, cool. Yeah, they like that. And pawpaws are beautiful. They're beautiful trees. Let's just see what else. I'm reading all the great comments in here. 2018 30 love visit. Oh yeah, that was 2018. Well, come again sometime, Dave. I really liked having your family here. That was fun. We had a dinner, didn't we? Did I make pasta? Did I make pasta for you guys? I forget. Can Majesty palms be planted outdoors? Well, it depends where you live. Um, oh, take care, Golden. Nice to have you in there. Jump in anytime and like and subscribe. I am seriously questioning life. No, don't question life right now, Jules. Do not question life. Okay? It'll get better. Trust me. I think there's a lot of people that feel the same way. Um, can Majesty palms be grown, planted outside? Ravina rivularis. If you live in California, Southern California, absolutely. Here, they don't have a hope at all. Joe, you don't make enough videos. I think this channel has 13,600 videos on it. I checked today. I just curious how many videos I have. I think I have 13,600 videos on this channel. So I've been putting them on this channel for over 10 years now. And then I have other channels as well. How old are yours? I hope they're. Oh, you're talking about the. Let's see. What are we talking about? The pawpaws, or are we talking about? Um, oh, you're talking to JC. Sorry about that. Yes, and you made a video about your pasta. Oh, that's right too. I did make pasta. That's the only thing I can really make. I can cook oysters pretty good too. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. I mean, I don't, Jules, I really don't follow politics that much. And I don't follow religion and politics that much. I'm really a gardener. That's what I am. I'm like this gardener and maintenance guy for the parks department. So my life really revolves around plants a lot. So I'm really dealing with a lot of plant people all the time. And I think that's my happy place. We liked our pasta. Thank you, Dave. Well, we enjoyed having you. I think we had wine too, didn't we? I'm pretty sure. Yeah. How do you upload over Wi-Fi? Easily. This is only Wi-Fi here. This is I just plug my camera chip right into my laptop here and select the video. I press upload and or select, go to the video and the one I want. It'll have the number on it. Slip upload and it goes right into YouTube. It's easy to use your cell phone. I don't have a cell phone. I don't actually own a cell phone. Blast off. I've never owned a cell phone in my life. I have one at work in my work truck, and I've taken pictures with that sometimes, but I use my, there's what I shoot all my videos on right there. That's it, folks. You know what I can do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Right now, I am shooting a video of you guys commenting on me. So we have Blast Off in there. That's Mike in Pennsylvania. I'd like to know if Majesty wants me planted outside in El Paso, Texas. I think I would try. I think I'd definitely try there in El Paso. There we go. You see, so I'm videotaping you guys on my live stream. And I'm going to make it about 22, 23 seconds. And then I'm going to say bye for now. So thanks for joining me in my live stream. You guys are awesome. All right. Cheers. So that's what I use for videotaping everything right here. So this is to own plants, you must own a home. Yep. And I've worked hard. I bought my first house when I was 21. I guess I was 21, 22 years old. I saved hard. I worked 6 and 7 days a week when I was a kid. And I worked weekends. I worked long weekends. The only day I got off during the year was Christmas Day. That's it. And I remember one Christmas Day, my boss wanted me to work, and I said, nah, I need one day off. So I worked hard. How can you afford a house at 21? I sure did, because I saved every penny I did. I worked hard, a hard, dirty. I started that job in early April 1978. When I was 14, I worked after school. I worked weekends, and I kept that job for 15 years and 3 months. I got married in the summer of 1986 in Hawaii. And when I got back from Hawaii, I had a house to move into, but it didn't mean I paid off my house, but I had a house. And what did I pay? About, I think 80 grand. I think about 80 grand back then. That was 34 years ago. So I worked hard and I saved my money. I didn't waste it on drugs, booze, and other frivolous things. Okay. Like a lot of my friends were going out drinking and getting wasted and this and that. And I didn't. I matured early and I saved my money because I had a goal set. I wanted to buy a house. I had to get married. Well, no, I didn't have to get married. We were getting married, and I wanted to have the house when I got married, and that's what I did. I bought a house, and I've always had a house because I've worked hard for it. Nothing was ever given to me, and that is the truth, man. Nothing was ever given to me. I've always worked for it. I bought my house at age 22, and now that's 20 grand. And it's all relative. When mom and dad first bought on Salt Spring in the summer of 1978, acres here on Salt Spring for $25,000. $25,000. And but wages were a lot less back then. $3.25 an hour, if I remember, way back in the late 70s. Right. So anyway, I have my house and I have my land around me and I have my garden, and that's just the way it is. So, when I get older, I'm definitely going to downsize because I don't need all this land around me, but it's nice to have it and it's private. And I quite like it here on Salt Spring Island. And I really don't know if I'd want to live anywhere else unless maybe I won the lottery, but I haven't bought a lottery ticket in a long time. And I think if I won a big lottery, I'd be helping a lot of people that need help. And I would also move to Maui. I would move to Maui for the winter, and I would come back here for the spring and summer months because I like living on Salt Spring Island, and I have a lot of friends here on Salt Spring Island. We have a lot of friends here. There's a lot of good people on Salt Spring Island. Yeah, drug dealers for neighbors, but that was a start. Yeah. Oh man. Bear in mind that was a steal. Yeah, even then. Yeah, that's a good deal, man. Yeah. Wow. These days are actually better in my naked eyes. Yeah. Well, you know what? Life goes on and things, there's inflation. I remember how cheap gas was back then too. And people complain about the price of gas. And it is 2020, right? Things are bound to go up. I got 5 different cultivars as 6-inch sticks, 2 to 3 inch. Wow. Cool. That sounds awesome. Aruth. Aruth. Right on. Well, I can't believe this live stream is going this long. I probably should get out of here soon. I'm sorry you guys missed the first live stream. My first townhouse is 113 Ontario. So that's a good price. 113 there, Tropical PDX. Not too shabby. Can you imagine what it's worth now? That's 18 years later. I'm poorer than I was. So am I. You know what, Dave? I'm with you. Well, I'm in my second marriage, okay? And so my ex-wife bought a place over on the Big Island. Nice lady. Get along with her great. I always got along with her. Could never see a bad thing about her. So she bought cheaper over there, and I bought her out here. So I've lived here a long time. And my ex said, Joe, you need to have this place because it's surrounded by these exotic gardens I created. You need to buy it, and I bought her out. My mom and dad, Jules, bought their first house in Vancouver in 1957 for $12,000 in the Killarney area. $12,000, but it's all relative. So my aunt lives in South Vancouver near Oak Ridge, and her place is worth about $6 or $7 million. And in 1968, she paid $68,000 for it. That's what she told me, and that's quite the inflation rate, isn't it? It's jumped. I water them every single night. That's the key, watering. I've only been married once, 25. Good for you. Well, you know what? That's a good thing. I was married 26 years, over 26 years, first time around. It's kind of insulting, to be honest. I don't know how people can afford to live. Like my oldest son was living in Vancouver, and he moved back to Vancouver Island. He lived in Vancouver for, I think, just about 5 years. He's got a good job. He went to Langara College. He does accounting and stuff like that. And he's still renting. All my kids rent, okay? All of my kids rent. My oldest kid's going to be 30 soon. My oldest son, my daughter's going to be 27 next spring. And my youngest son just turned 20, and they all rent. I don't know if they'll ever own a place. Maybe in a cheaper part of Vancouver Island. Was my aunt ever there? Yep, my aunt's been to this place. She was here 20 years ago. My aunt doesn't really do a lot of traveling now. She used to go to Hawaii every year for 2 or 3 months. Yeah. But Jules, a lot of people rent their entire life. I know people here that are in their mid 60s that rent. A lot of my friends rent. And you know what? Sometimes it's actually better to rent because there's less headaches when you rent. You pay the landlord, and if something goes wrong with your house, they fix it. You know what I mean? If something goes wrong with my house, I got to fix it. And I got to make sure I have that money in the kitty to fix it. And not a lot of people have money saved up. It's tough these days to make, just to survive sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. You never amass wealth renting. Yeah, no, well, at least, yeah, exactly. So we're building equity. That's the thing. We have property here, so we are building equity. This place has gone up a lot since I bought it just about 30 years ago. It's gone up a lot, I can tell you that. And if they ever cut the trees down across the street for me, I will have a full ocean view because we're across the street from the ocean. But we do not see the ocean. But it's like this: our house is here, and it goes down to the ocean like that. So there's nothing obstructing our view. So what we would see is Wallace Island, okay, in the distance, and then you would see the bluffs of Galliano Island. So we'd have an awesome view. Is it normal to spend a lifetime without ever owning? Or no, it's not. No, my wife's son and her daughter don't own anything. He's 36 and she's 30, going to be 34 soon. I don't think they'll ever own. He rents in Vancouver. He works in Vancouver, and she lives here and she rents. And she's renting a cottage on the other side of our property. Our house in Oakville, we bought 3 years later. Yep. See, this place here is worth, I mean, if we were to sell it, it's probably worth about, probably close to 900,000 at least. It's not cheap here. It's expensive. That's the only way to make money in Canada. Yeah, real estate is a good thing. That's how my mom and dad did it. They used to buy and sell. So mom and dad would buy a fixer-upper, and they would fix it up nice because my dad could do everything like that. And they'd live in it for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and then they would sell it, and they would make a quick turnover, and they'd make quite a bit of money on it because you got to live in it so long. And that's what they did. And they've been doing that ever since I was a little kid. Do you have a band B? Bambi? Deer? Oh gosh. Mike, there's so many deer on Salt Spring Island, it is not even funny. We have our main gardens fenced. Oh, B&B. Yeah, we do have a B&B. Yeah, there's people staying in it right now. It's solidly booked. Yeah, that's what it is. Tropical PDX, 2 years resident. So they'd live in it for 4 years or so, and then they would sell it. Yeah, we have a B&B. It's on Facebook, Magnolia Petal B&B accommodation. It's quite nice. Magnolia Petal B&B and Exotic Gardens, or accommodation Exotic Gardens. Wendy looks after all that. That's nothing to do with me. That's her thing. She had 3 B&Bs on Salt Spring Island before she moved in with me quite a few years ago. So she had one big house with 3 beautiful B&B rooms in it and amazing gardens. Wendy's a keen. I'm glad we got together. And then she brought her talent to this garden too and added and made it way better. Samia's just a foliage gardener, and she added so many more things here. Deer are not deer. Deer are, well, they're deer to some people. Deer. Yeah, you got to really watch out for them when you're driving to work every morning or coming home at night, because we bumper Bambi and they just jump out without warning. So if you see one mother deer jump out, you always slow right down, because a Bambi will follow, or another Bambi will follow. Sometimes 2 Bambis will follow, and often you will see roadkill deer here. Joe and Wendy are, yeah, I don't know if we're perfect, but we try. I mean, we get along great, and we have fun together, and we're compatible. We are very compatible. And put it this way, Mike, she puts up with me, right? Because I like to talk a lot, and Wendy is really quiet. Really quiet. And the thing with my ex-wife, really nice lady, Hillary, I started dating her when she was 18, and our interests changed as we grew older. We just kind of drifted apart, which is quite sad, but it happens. And we had 3 kids together, great kids, and we all get along just fine. No problem. Never burnt any bridges, get along just fine. And a very nice lady, and she's doing well over on the Big Island. And Wendy and I actually went to her place. When were we there? We were there, I think in the spring we went to her place. I had to go over there and visit. My son was living in the basement suite, the oldest one, and I dropped off a birthday present. Of course, I made plans to meet him there, and she was in the Philippines at the time, her and her partner. They were in the Philippines, and I get there and he's not even there, and I left him a present. I left him a gift, and he says, "Oh, Dad, sorry, I totally forgot." But you know what? I don't get mad over it. It's understandable. He's got lots of other things going on his plate, so him and his girlfriend were not there. And but you know what? All of my kids came to visit me within the last month. So first I had Ryan and his girlfriend, and I had Sammy, my daughter, stayed here for a couple of days, and then my youngest son came over too. He came over to visit, and then he came over again too. He broke his wrist skateboarding, so you got to be careful skateboarding. And that's what he did. He broke his wrist so bad he's got pins in it and plates. You and Hillary were meant to be friends. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. You know what? And I'm still friend. You know what? I tell you what. When we and I'm really good friends with her mom and dad. Her mom passed away a couple of years ago. Really sweet lady, and she was 85. But her dad, we bumped into her dad. We were in Waikiki. This is, I think it was 2013. It was 2013. We were in Hawaii together, and we bumped into Hillary's dad and my ex's dad and his wife in Waikiki, and they took Wendy and I out for dinner. They says, "Where would you?" This is, "Oh, nice meeting you." They're totally nice people. Gave me a big hug, gave them hugs, and they were pleased to meet Wendy. And they says, "Where do you guys like to go for dinner? What's your favorite spot?" And they took us out for dinner, man. And then we met them the next day down on the beach again. We bumped into them the night of the fireworks. They stay at the Hilton Hawaiian, and every Friday night they have fireworks. And it was nice. It was great. They're great people. So he's still alive and kicking. He's 86 now. Wow, really nice. And she's got a really nice family, and Wendy's got a great family too. So Wendy's mom's great. Wendy's sister's awesome, and we all get along good. So anyway, you know what, guys? I should back out here. This is getting kind of crazy. I've been in here a long time, long time, and I think I'm going to get something cold to drink, like maybe a glass of water. No beer for me today. No beer. But I was at Hal's last night, and I did have two sneaky weasels. And he did pour me a little shot of Crown Royal, apple flavored Crown Royal. It was actually quite good. So, anyway, all of you guys, stay safe out there. And thanks for joining in the live stream. It's always fun to chat with you guys. And remember, I did shoot a video of this. So, I'm going to upload that video of this live stream. I'm going to take a picture of this right here. Let's go like this, right? Get that right there. So you can see, I can see, do I see? Yeah, I see Blast Off in there. I see you, White, with dreamy eyes, and Capital. And I see, who else do I see in there? Blast Off. Well, if anybody else jumps in there, I can take another quick pic. Anyway, thanks for jumping in. It was awesome. And I will probably I'm going to go for a bike ride tomorrow, another motorcycle ride. And then I'm going to do maybe another live stream, but it's going to be a lot shorter than this because I'm taking up a lot of your time. I know it's late where Mike is. Have a good evening, JC, Tropical PDX. There we go. That's better right there. Can you see that? Right on. The glare is really annoying. The glare. It's the glare. Anyway, take care, you guys, and cheers and aloha, and have fun out there, and stay safe and have a good night. Get a good night's sleep. I think I'm going to be tossing and turning tonight. 2 coffees was a really bad thing for me today. Tomorrow I'm just going to have a really small one in the morning. That's it. Anyway, cheers to you all. And Ruth, cheers to you as well. And Blast Off and Tropical PDX and JC and everybody else that's in there. And Jane that was in there in Hawaii. Thanks for jumping in. And we will see you next time on another live stream. And stay tuned for more unedited, raw and unedited videos here. And remember, it's all just YouTube entertainment. And all your comments are welcome, negative or positive. It doesn't really matter to me. Nothing offends me. Remember that. All right. Cheers.